Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Fiendish Friday. Yes, TGIF. It is finally here. The weekend is finally upon us. I hope each and every one of you have a great weekend. I hope you're having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk. All that fantastic jazz whenever you're watching this. I hope you're watching some great videos, maybe binge watching some movies or series, whatever it is you're doing. Maybe checking out some videos at Matt's Movie Mania. I thank you guys again once for coming around and do like, share, and subscribe. Today's one of my favorite films of all time. It's not the top two, but it is definitely, I would put it up there in the top 10, maybe top 5. One that I as far as for horror films go. And it's one of my favorite films in general. I've just loved this one ever since I was a kid. I continue to love it. I love the sequels, even though the sequels get a lot of heat at times from certain people because they're so different compared to this first one, because the first one is serious. And then you go to the second and third one, and they're not quite at. They're a little more tongue in cheek, and a lot of people didn't like that about those. I enjoyed them. I think they are absolutely just amazing stuff. I am a huge fan of all of them, even Return. The one even Return to Sleepaway Camp, but now that I've given it away, it is Sleepaway Camp. Yes, I love all this entire franchise. This is one I watch and watch and watch and watch and watch. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to go watch Sleepaway Camp 2 after this because I want something to watch that makes me happy and makes me smile, and that one definitely does. Maybe I'll double feature it and put number 3 in, because I just watched number 1 recently. You can't watch Sleepaway Camp without watching 2 and 3. Maybe I'll even throw in Return to Sleepaway Camp, which is a lot more serious than 2 and 3. Some people look at it as the real sequel to Sleepaway Camp. I would just look at it as the fourth film that was never, because there was supposed to be a fourth one called Survivor, but it never was. It was never finished or made. Like, there was some test footage, I believe, shot. I actually have a DVD somebody cut together that I purchased online that is it's kind of puts it together in that aspect. Not very well though, because there's not much to do. And then I also have a really cool I should have grabbed it before I started this review, but I have the old school Anchor Bay box set where it's a nice thick DVD box set that is made up to look like a first aid kit. And I know that one got, I want to say, recalled or something, because a lot of people complained about that, thinking that they were actually getting a first aid kit when it's in, they're finding it in the movie section. That I never really quite understood that. But then again, we do have to put caution, contents are hot on our coffee, because people are morons. Yes, I said that. People are morons. I do some stupid shit, but man, y'all do some stupid shit out there. Do not eat on silica packets. Like, why would you eat that? It came in a box of shoes. Uh, Anyways, let's get onto the gem, the masterpiece, the one and only film this week that I like that I feel that I like more than everything that I did this week. And I did some good movies this week. I did Edge of the Axe yesterday. That was really good. We did Gutterballs on Monday. What did we do? What else did I do this week? Oh, shoot. I did the Nostril Picker. Yeah, that was one I forgot I did. But there's several that I have. There's 5. This is the 5th film of the week, and this one is my absolute favorite. Um, Now, this one came out in 1983, so I was 3 years old when this came out. A magical year. That was the year my brother Benjamin was born. Yes, he's my brother. He's a good guy. People give him a lot of flack sometimes, though, but he's a good guy. Um, Now this movie is what is it's definitely unrated. It's running at this cut's running at an hour and 24 minutes on here. By the way, this is the Scream Factory Blu-ray DVD combo. It does have. Let me open her up here. Boop. See, Blu-ray, DVD, both standard issue pressed, and it does have a reversible cover artwork with the newly commissioned artwork that they came up with. I am just a huge fan of the old artwork with the letter and the knife going through the shoe. I just there's just something about that. It just takes me back to my childhood, and it brings a lot of joy to my heart. Now who's all in this? We got Mike Kellin in here. We got Katherine, Kamhi, Paul DeAngelo. I think he plays Tony, the guy, the camp counselor that's got a really thick accent. And he says Angela, like that, Angela. It's also got Jonathan Thierston, Felissa Rose, who plays Angela, and she is great in this. She's great in everything she's in. I love Felissa Rose, or Felissa, or I think it's Felissa. It's Felicia. Either way, she's great in everything she's in. Christopher Collet and Karen Fields are all in this, and this is directed by Robert Hiltzik, and it is a masterpiece. What is this one? Or actually, I forgot to show you the special features. There is commentary with Felissa Rose and Jonathan Thierston, who I believe plays her cousin Ricky in this one. He is really good in this. There's the camp counselor. There he is, right there. Tony, Angela. He's kind of a goofy guy. He's one that every time I see him, he makes me giggle a little bit because of his outfits his shorts are very short, and his outfits what clothing is on, it looks like it's been painted on. That's like, it's because it's so tight and form fitting. It's kind of uncomfortable for me. It's like, ew, that's gross. But it's not. It's far from the grossest thing in this film. The grossest thing, in my opinion, is one of the first victims of the entire film at the camp is this sleazy scumbag cook who is a pedophile. And they show you right away what kind of a sick son of a bitch this guy is. Because he makes comments to another cook who is played by none other than James Earl Jones' dad. He was in there. I forget what his name was, but Darth Vader's dad was in this, playing the opposite cook. For years I didn't realize it until probably 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, probably about 10 years ago is when I finally realized, oh my God, that's Darth Vader's dad right there. They look alike, they talk alike. They walk alike, they talk alike. But he has some comments between them. There's some comments between each other, and this sleazy cook says, "Oh, nothing but something about baldies." And he's referring to their genitalia, and it's like, oh, what a sick son of a bitch, like. And that person gets exactly what he deserves. His scene is very brutal. I imagine he lives from this because he was alive when they wheeled him away, screaming and agony and just completely incinerated practically, because they got something poured on him, a whole bunch of something poured on him that burned him very, very much, and it just makes me cringe thinking about it. But let's get on to what it's about. It starts off with this scene, this where you're out at this lake, no particular lake. There's a horrible wreck that causes. There's two children and two men out there. A horrible wreck that causes one of the men and one of the children to die. The other child is horribly injured, which ends up becoming Angela. And Angela moves in with her cousin Ricky and his mother. And Ricky is he's a good cousin. He's he sticks up for Angela every time he turns around. And I really admire that about him. He would go, no matter how many people or who it was, he always stuck up for his family. And that's what family is about. You got to stick up for each other, especially in today's times when people are just crazy as hell. But I always admire that about him because his character was always he's very mouthy. Don't get me wrong, he is a mouthy little fucker, He reminds me of me when I was a kid, I said a lot of bad things like that. But it was, the difference is that this is a movie. I was in real life. Ooh. But he always sticks up for her, which is really nice. They both go off to camp. Ricky's mom is very weird. You notice something is very off right away. Very mechanical in the movements, and there's something about I was supposed to remember. And then I would tie a string, and then she looks down, and then she's tied a string around her finger. Lo and behold, to remember, oh yeah, I got to get the kids' medical documents for them to go to camp, which, by the way, she forged. And you find out why later on in the movie. The very ending is just a mind-boggler. If you have not seen this, do watch it. Just to see the crazy-ass ending. It's a good movie, all in all. It's so good. But she forges these documents, sends them off to camp. Day one, That's when the whole thing goes down with the cook, skeezy son of a gun. What else do we have in here? We have a cool scene that has involves some water and drowning. There's a nice scene that involves bees. There's a girl in here named Judy who's a huge see you next Tuesday. She makes life hell for Angela, and it's she definitely is one of those you want her to get her comeuppance, and she definitely does. There's other characters. There's like a guy named Mel who is the head of the camp, and he's kind of a sleazeball himself. He wants to keep sweeping all these deaths under the rug and all these accidents under the rug because he's got a business to run, and he's got to make money off of this here camp. He can't be closing the camp down. He'll be out of money. One of those ordeals, because the guy is clearly a cheap bastard. You can tell by the way he's dressed. He's dressed like he's still in 1965. It is very old attire. He looks silly, in my opinion. Real sleazeball Mel. But what else do we want to give away about on this movie? Oh, there's a funny scene where they're doing the mind over matter. If you can do a sit up with your eyes closed gag to this one kid. Very funny scene. Personally, I've never done that one, but they do the classic, like tickle the nose and put the whipped cream in the hand. That gag, I've totally done that one. That I did that because of this movie. To be quite honest, this movie is why I did it. I did it to one of my cousins, and we watched the movie. He fell asleep later that night, and I thought, why the hell not? Because we just saw it. What better time to do it than now? But let's get on to some sort of ratings here, because I can talk about this one for an hour, maybe two. Um, it's technically it's made very well. The story delivers very, very smooth. There's no like real hiccups in the film that I personally noticed. It's I don't see any huge flaws, because everything that is presented in front of you is exactly what you need to see, and they're not hiding anything that is like huge plot holes or anything like that, because any plot holes that are in it are explained by the end of the film, and it is done rather well. My only thing is there's a scene that involves a bunch of children, and I wish they would have showed more of that scene, because that one, when they're sleeping out in the, it's to the big finale. It's on the old coup de grace at the end. Um, I wish they would have not. They just kind of like looked over their bodies. I wish we would have got to at least witness this carnage happen, because it would have really solidified this movie as one for the ages. I mean, it already did with the ending. Like, holy shit, you just went there, very. Ahead of its time with things like that, because there's other movies that came along and did kind of the same thing, but this one did it way before and did it way better. So let's see. With the acting is very good. There's some fun editing. There's great camera angles. There's some nice little comedy in there to break up the so the mood isn't constantly on your knee or on your toes the whole time. I feel like every great horror film has a little bit of every genre kind of like pulled into it, and this one does it. There's a little bit of drama. There's some mystery to it. There's some comedy in it, and you have the action of what's being done, the horror of it, like the kills, the action from that. It's very, very well made film. So I'm going to give it a 4 on the 1 through 5 technical side. Now, as far as an entertainment side goes, this thing is a 5. I love this movie. A 9 out of 10 is my perfect number for this movie. It is almost flawless in my eyes. I hope all of you that have seen this, tell me what you think. Do you think it's a lump of shit, or do you think I'm spot on with it being great, being an awesome classic? What are some of your classics that you like to throw in? That this is a classic feel-good movie for me. What are some of your guys's? And also, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I hope Monday, I'm not sure what I got lined up for next week, so we'll see what I get lined up for you guys. I know for sure there's going to be at least one Unearthed film again next week.